folks, and welcome to my video for this weekend's football fixtures. Last week I got a score of 6 out of 10, which wasn't bad, I suppose. So this week we start off with the trip Watford versus Everton. Watford are mid-table and fairly comfortable mid-table, and Everton just 3 places above them. Watford's home form is kind of average, 10 goals for, 10 goals against, whereas Everton's away form is 2 wins, 1 draw and 4 defeats. See this basically as a game between 2 teams who are sort of average. Watford are kind of at the level you'd expect, whereas Everton are having a, I suppose, kind of disappointing season. They're a lot better at home than they are away. So I think I will go for a draw. Just sit on the fence to begin with. So next up we have Arsenal versus Stoke. Arsenal had a good win during the week there, away to Basel in the Champions League. So I think their confidence will be high. They've got a good away form. They have 5 wins and 2 draws and no defeats. So I can't really see them getting beat by Stoke. Stoke's away form is kind of average, but they're sitting mid-table in 9th place and Arsenal in 2nd. I can only really see this as a home win. Next up we have a Battle of the Bees, Burnley versus Bournemouth. Burnley are currently in 15th and Bournemouth are bang mid-table 10. Bournemouth will be feeling very confident after last week's surprise and well earned, well deserved victory over Liverpool. But their away form isn't good. They have 1 win, 2 draws and 4 defeats, whereas Burnley's home form is 4 wins, 1 draw and 3 defeats. So because they've got quite a good home record, and I think the small ground will help, I'm going to go for another home win. I think the bubble will burst for Bournemouth after last week's win. Next up we have a relegation 6-pointer. Hull versus Crystal Palace. Hull are on 11 points and Palace are on 14, so it's really a 6-pointer. If Hull win, they'll be equal, whereas if Palace win, they'll be 6 points ahead. Hull's home form, it's okay for a team down at the bottom. 2 wins, a draw and 4 defeats, although they're not scoring many goals. They've had 7 games at home but only scored 6 goals. Palace, on the other hand, they've scored 13 goals away from home in 7 games, which is a lot higher than most teams in the division, although 4 of those would have came in their 5-4 defeat a few weeks ago to Swansea. So let's see. Hull, I think I'll go for an away win. I just don't think Hull have the strength and depth. I think they're going to struggle this season. So next up we have Swansea versus Sunderland. Okay, that's a real relegation first game. Swansea are currently bottom on 9 points, and Sunderland are 18th on 11 points. Sunderland's away form isn't much good. In fact, I just noticed that the bottom 4 teams in the division all have the exact same away form. 1 win, 1 draw, and 5 defeats. Swansea have only won 1 home game this season. They've scored 10, conceded 16 at home, where Sunderland have only scored 4 goals away from home all season in 7 games. I think even though Sunderland have been playing well recently, I don't think they'll win, and Bob Bradley hasn't had the desired effect in Swansea, so I think I shall go for a draw. And finally, for Saturday, we have the evening match, which is Leicester City versus Manchester City. Well, Leicester have sort of imploded this season. In fact, I think Leicester are actually doing worse than if they hadn't been champions last year. Their home form's kind of okay. It's 3 wins, 3 draws, and 1 defeat. So that's what we're looking at. I really don't want to look at their away form at all. So, Leicester's home form is okay. Man City's away form is very good. They have 6 wins and 1 defeat. So that 1 defeat, I couldn't tell you who that was against. Chelsea. Anyway, right. So, I think you only see it going one way. City had a sort of, well, not a sort of, Man City had their second string out against Celtic during the week, so all their top players have got a rest. And the way Leicester are playing this season, you can only see it going one way. So I would be predictable and go the same way and say away win. So now we come on to Sunday's matches. So on Sunday, the first game is Chelsea versus West Brom. Chelsea are top at the moment. Their home form is 6 wins and 1 defeat. They've scored 20 goals, so they've got a really good home record. I think their home defeat was against Liverpool. And they're playing West Brom, who are sitting currently in 7th, which is pretty good for West Brom. They would take that if the season finished now. They've got a pretty average away form, 2 wins, 3 draws, 2 defeats. But I think the way Chelsea are playing this season, I can only see a home win. And you'd have to say that probably a home win by quite some margin. Next up would be the big game of the weekend, Manchester United versus Spurs. So that's 6th versus 5th. United have drawn a lot of home games this season. They've had 7 games at home at Old Trafford and have won only 2. They've drawn 4 and lost 1. Tottenham's away form is actually the same. In fact, you know what? Man United's home form is exactly the same as Spurs' away form. 2 wins, 4 draws, 1 defeat, 10 goals for, 6 goals against. That's quite an unusual little happenstance. I can see that Spurs had a good win during the week there in the Champions League, even though it didn't matter in the end. But I think I can only see Manchester United continuing their run of draws, so I'll go for another draw. So next up we have Southampton versus Middlesbrough, which is 12th versus 13th. Middlesbrough's home form. Middlesbrough won last Monday night against Hull. They have two wins, 1 draw and 4 defeats away from home. And sorry, I looked at the wrong table or the wrong team. They have 1 win, 5 draws and 1 defeat away from home. So they're a bit of a draw specialist. And Southampton are really, they're just plodding along this season. They're not setting anyone alight. They had a disappointing draw in Europe last night, so where they crashed out of the Europa League. Not sure if they wanted to be in the Europa League, but I think with Southampton's form being a bit patchy, and with Middlesbrough being a draw specialist, I'd probably go for a draw. In fact, I'll probably go for a 0-0 draw. And then finally, we have the late game, or I think it's a 4:30 kickoff on Sunday for Liverpool versus West Ham. Liverpool last week blew it against Bournemouth. Their home form's very good this season. It's 5 wins and a draw, no defeats. And West Ham's away form is 1 win, 1 draw and 5 defeats. Do you know something? Even as a Liverpool fan, if this was any other team in any other division, and the home team was 5 wins and a draw, and the away team was 1 win, 1 draw and 5 defeats, you'd go, that's a home win, easily. But the way Liverpool's defence has been this season, it's been a shambles. I'll go for Liverpool to win, but both teams to score, and Liverpool probably only by about a goal. So those are my predictions for this weekend. Watford and Everton to be a draw, Arsenal and Stoke to be a home win, Burnley and Bournemouth to be a home win, Hull versus Crystal Palace to be an away, Swansea versus Sunderland to be a draw, Leicester versus Man City to be an away win, Chelsea versus West Brom to be a home win, Manchester United versus Spurs to be a draw, Southampton Middlesbrough to be a draw, and finally Liverpool to beat West Ham. Well, that's wishful thinking, hopefully. Okay, folks. Thanks very much. Cheerio, bye.